Morning again from Dumfries Ice Bowl. We're now on draw 4 of the Dumfries CCT challenge. So join us now, we'll have the Scottish local rink of Hamish Gallagher, and he's playing Christian Bangeter from Switzerland. So we join this game in the first end into third stones. So welcome everyone, and welcome also this morning is Scott Hamilton here to help with the commentary, who's also coach of Team Gallagher, so he'll be able to fill us in on the team as we go on.
Afternoon folks, I'll correct David first of all, given that it's now past 12 o'clock, so apologies for the first mistake.
I think if that's my only mistake before the end of the day, Scott will be doing quite well.
Yeah. So looking forward to this one really. Interesting to see how Hamish or Team Gallagher performs. Hamish unfortunately can't be playing this afternoon, so Jamie Strawhorn's come in at skip. But no, I think it should be a good game, good experience for the young local team to be playing these Swiss boys.
Yeah, and Jamie will bring a bit of experience in at skip as well, won't he, Scott? The boys had a good win last night as well, didn't they? I think Jamie played that game while Hamish was skipping it.
I think Jamie's son Jack normally plays in this team, but unfortunately he's got a chest infection and is unavailable all weekend, is my understanding. So Jamie, I think, will be in most of the weekend. Good curler in his own right, Jamie, coming out curled out of Lockerbie for many years, and certainly very experienced.
So in this first end, Christian Bangeter has hammer. The hammer is decided on the draw shot from the previous game, I do believe. So they obviously had better draw shot challenge. So the blue stones here with hammer.
I think we're at Skip's first stones now, David, from what I can gather. So Swiss get Skip here, just looking to play a double tap to try and.
Yeah, I think he's probably thinking if he can get this half stone on this top one, he could probably roll the shooter in and push the one in the house, end up sitting 2 in the house, and it looks to me like the shot's on. It's on its way now, they're standing off it, so
a well executed shot, I think.
He's spun one in the house, and it is sitting behind the blue, which does put a bit of pressure on Jamie of the Gallagher rink here. Just can't quite see behind Scott Hislop there, but no, he's covered that stone pretty well. So Jamie thinks there is enough room to come through the port just at a hack weight and push that through, but it's a tough shot here he's left him.
Even if he could almost come up and corner freeze that, David.
Yeah, that's true, Scott. You don't always have to sit shot, do you? As long he's really just hoping to force the Blues to take in their one.
I think the ice that he's taken is clearly wanting to play a bit of weight on this.
Jamie's last stone here, and he's played it perfectly. Look at that, through the port, picks that blue out. Well, they're looking at this. Is the split on in the blue, Scott? I think it probably is there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it is, David. I think it's almost too far out, and we've got to be wary of that yellow as well.
Yeah. Could almost use that that yellow to their advantage. I mean, they could come off the back side of it and use it to direct the shooter into the house.
I think it's the only way to play it. I don't think it's there on to chip off the other side of that.
Yeah.
Certainly. So
They're certainly playing it anyway, so we'll find out in a minute. So here we go, the final stone is on its way for the end. They look reasonably happy with it, they're working it hard now. On the fresh, the whole lot. So here we go, that's a blank end. That's no bad result for the Swiss rink there.
I think it was a sort of all or nothing shot. I think the objective was either to take two or blank. The Swiss team would not have liked to take one in that first end.
Yeah. So it was an interesting way to blank it, but they've blanked it nonetheless.
So Bill Turner gets the second in underway for us here. Bill actually is another sub in this team this afternoon. And has a bit of experience himself, so he's played in a lot of the under 14s and under 17s events over the past 2 to 3 years. Another local player here at Dumfries.
So tell us, Scott, you've coached this Gallagher team. They've had some success this year, haven't they, in the under 17s, would it be correct?
Yeah, so James Craig is the other James Craig certainly leading the under 17 slam at the minute, but closely followed by Steve Gallagher. Hamish managed to beat James in the final at Greenacres, which kept the slam alive to the next event. So no, I think they're gaining experience every event they've played. They've managed to qualify for the Scottish Junior Championship this year as well, and two of them at 14 and the other two just turned 15. It's a huge achievement at such a young age, and it's all about gaining experience for this team. The big wins for this team will come in 3 to 4 years' time from now. So
yeah, they've got such a lot of years ahead of them in juniors still, and it's great to see so many juniors coming out this ice rink at Dumfries this year, and it just shows the work that's going in here by Graham and all the volunteers.
Yeah, so Graham Sloan obviously and the volunteers and his coaching team here at Dumfries are doing a great job. To come in here on most nights and the place is full with juniors, and I think through the day he's doing an awful lot of good work with local schools as well. So future champions to come out of Dumfries for sure.
Yep, and there's already a world champion, of course, with Grant Hardy winning the mixed world championships this year. So that's Dumfries' first world champion.
Yeah, that's right. And Grant's actually, I think, on the ice at the minute, playing under Bruce Mowat. They're another team in this section, and I think Hamish and the boys actually play Bruce and Grant Hardy tonight.
That's right, we talked a wee bit about the Bruce Mowat rink last night, and then they went on to get defeated, which was quite a surprise result really, so they'll be really looking to recollect today, and it's really turning into what is a game they must win this morning, or else they're struggling to keep their hopes alive to win this weekend.
Yeah, that's right, and especially tonight, so I think two of the Mowat team are unavailable to play tonight, so Grant Harvey and Amy Macmillan are heading back to Stranraer, so I think they've got 2 subs coming in, so Gallagher will fancy his chances in that game tonight.
So is that a Macmillan family party then, obviously the pair being cousins?
I think it is, David, yes. So Jamie obviously just trying to keep this end fairly simple as well. Be patient and wait for his chance to.
Yeah, that's right, just keeping this end simple. The lead stone slipped into the house, so it's just been a fairly clean end since then. Just getting the boys settled in. Just looking down on the rinks here, and I can see the Bruce Mowat rink is 2 up after the first end. Tried to freeze that, so they're obviously looking to try and force the issue a wee bit here, David, and just slip back 12 foot, and there's maybe an opportunity now for the Gallagher team to force their one. Yeah, that's right, Scott. Now it just comes down to a question how aggressive Jamie wants to be. So he could of course split the house and force the one, but he's favouring the guard on that yellow, which is a way maybe he could steal, but that yellow is back tee, and if he throws the guard, there is obviously the danger that the Swiss team will decide to come round all that and sit on top of that yellow, and it will put the pressure back on Jamie, but he's decided he wants to go aggressive, so that's good. We're going to see a bit of play going on here now.
No, definitely. It's something that we've been working with the Gallagher team on. Is actually just trying to be patient and wait for their chances, but clearly they see this as a good opportunity to force one at the very least. What they don't want to do though is leave an easy double for the Swiss boys to bring this back blue into play. Yeah,
and unfortunately that just has really slipped a wee bit too far in, and like you say, they can make this double here and lie 2 in the house.
Yeah, it is a game of fine margins, as we well know. This isn't easy by any means. They could either lock it onto the yellow or even lock it onto the blue.
Well, like you say, Scott, it's exactly what happened. He's jammed it back in the yellow, so yellow sits shot again. So, well, Jamie calls the same shot again, just wants this to be top 8. Really want these dead in line so you don't leave a double. It's all about the stone position, isn't it?
It's so crucial, isn't it? Nowadays in the game, these teams that are playing week in, week out, stone placement is such a key part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they can make run backs. These 5-foot doubles are really no bother to them, so we were just saying last night you're sitting in the end thinking you're in a good position, and it just takes one shot and before you know it the whole end's changed round.
There's 1 or 2 ends this morning that we thought we were in a good position as well, David, and one good shot turned it around, and quite interested to see the ice conditions here this afternoon.
Yeah, this has got a big weight, this one here, Scott, hasn't it? It really needed that to be in the house. And
yeah, it's a pure shot from Scott Hislop, really, and this is trying to, what things that we've been working on with the team is that when they're sitting on the hack, try and understand where the miss is.
Yeah.
So rather than so don't think that you're going to miss the shot, but if you are going to miss it, where the miss is, it's clearly the miss there would be a shot rather than heavy. So I'm sure Scott will be disappointed in kicking himself after that.
Yeah, but still no easy shot this. He has to shift that blue over that yellow, over the top of the blue and lie 2 in the house. The shot is there. This looks high line. I think he's getting a piece, Scott, but I don't think the shooter's going to stick. Oh, in fact, he hasn't got much of that yellow at all. So a couple of misses here just in the second end as the teams get settled down.
So I'm sure Scott Hizzard would be relieved to see that one slide past after his previous shot. And the ice must be quite straight. That's not an awful lot of ice Jamie's given there for to finish just top 8 foot in front of that yellow. Clearly our game this morning, the ice was very good. It was swinging. Quite interested to see just how it holds up. I think it's fair to say after 6 ends this morning it went quite fudgy.
Yeah.
So again, that's just something that these teams need to keep an eye on. Again, this one looks like it's got
a bit of running, hasn't it?
That's a much better shot. I think for me, Scott Hizzard is a key player to this Gallagher rink when they're playing with their full strength team. When Scott plays well, generally they're winning their games. I think he's a huge player.
So just remind me, what is the original lineup of the teams? You've got Hamish skipping it, and does Scott normally play third stones?
So Jack Carrick plays lead, but he's playing second in this game. Jack Strawhorn normally plays second. Scott Hizzard will play third, and Hamish obviously skips it.
And there's that curl we were talking about. They've just caught the curl and they've missed that altogether, Scott. So now this is a great position for the Gallagher rink.
Yeah, I think I would be looking for them to play a guard here. It may be that in this sheet, David, that there's one who's swinging more than the other. And clearly, Jamie's not got enough outside for this guard previously for Scott's shot, but we're seeing the Swiss stone swing at strike rates.
It's so dependent on the way you release the stone on this ice here as well, Scott, isn't it? If you're not positive at all when you release, then you do see the stones really pull across a lot.
Yeah, I think any soft handles do get caught out, certainly. But I'd be looking for Jamie here just to be somewhere between halfway between the house and the hog line. Anything from there and in front of the rings. And they're in quite a good position, certainly to force the one at the very least.
Definitely, Scott. You could also come round that one top of the 8 foot and just try and put a better shot in right on the button. The problem here is if they throw a really good guard, it does force the Swiss to come right round everything and lay shot, because really that's what they're going to have to do if they want to score their 2. But they called it short of the house, like you said.
Yeah, that's a good point you make, David. But then I'm sure the Gallagher team could then possibly just throw another guard and make it very, very difficult for the Swiss boys to get in for 2. Again, something else that we've been working on with these boys is trying not to get too greedy. When you're trying to steal, you only really need to be looking at stealing, or realistically stealing one at a time.
Yep.
Anything more than that is a bonus. And once or twice earlier on this season, they've managed to get themselves into a good position to steal. And they've tried to get a bit greedy with Hamish's last one and actually make the opposition have an easier shot.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you're better just looking after what you've got, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But just as you've called it, David. So they're trying to draw right round about all of this now. Quite a big shot early on in the game. This.
That's right. I have to make this shot again, like you say. If they're short, they're guarding, and it's really not good to them. If they're long, it does give Jamie the chance to come right round again on top. So.
Yeah, there really isn't much room for error here. It looks like it's got plenty of weight at the minute, and it's just in this straighter hand. So Team Gallagher certainly has read the ice in the early part of this game better than the Swiss guys. And now this is where I would like to, just where Scott's putting his brush. Makes it very, very difficult for the Swiss boys to get in. And Jamie's quite experienced in this situation, David, so hopefully he'll be able to pass some of that experience on to these young boys. Clearly they're playing a Swiss team, which I'm sure are quite a strong outfit.
See Jamie with his slide back there, lifts the stone off. You don't get many curlers these days, do you, who like to lift the stone off? Well, Kevin Cooey maybe does. There's one I can think of, but it's generally an old school way of doing it. But it seems to work for Jamie and Kevin Cooey, so we'll not argue with it.
Jamie said, as you said earlier on, the best curlers to come out certainly. Watch out for Jamie to work as this game goes on, actually, especially in his terms, he does tend to get soft and we've talked about it 5-10 minutes ago, he can certainly catch you out on this swing ice.
You've seen that there, Scott, as he's just over curled really, but he did bounce off the guard a little bit, so it's tight in this draw up. So let's see if the Swiss team can make the adjustment from that first miss that they had there. They have still took a lot of ice, like they really need to get into the forefoot here, don't they?
They do, but look, Team Gallagher have certainly met the objective at the end, which was to put the Swiss boys under pressure and make them play a shot for their one. Something which we didn't really manage to do earlier on, David.
That's correct.
Sweepers are standing back off this one. Scott's getting in there, quite excited. So, yep. So I would suggest a steal of one.
Definitely a steal of one.
Possibly two.
I think it looks like one, Scott. So, like you say, that's a good result for the Gallagher right now. They've had a steal. So. So Bill Turner has got us underway here in the third end. Apologies for a delay in commentary there. David Owen was just giving Mr. McMeekin and I some instructions as to how to drive this machine in front of us. So some updates from this morning's session then. So Team Brewster had a convincing win over Team Carson. Team Vez, so the Spanish boys, had a good win from Team Bar, and clearly the Swiss boys beat ourselves as Team here. There you can see on your screen now an update from the rest of this afternoon's sessions.
Bad miss and David early on in this end, so they've managed to get their noses in front with a steal of one in the second end there. What they just need to do now is concentrate and make sure that they're not having any silly misses like that one.
Yeah, and the Swiss rink here are going quite aggressive, aren't they? They're calling. They could have chose to hit the Gallagher stone in the house, but instead of that, they're choosing to draw another one, I think.
Yeah, well, I think
the one in the house.
I think what they'd actually asked for was to throw a corner guard and it clearly slipped into the house. I'm sure Jamie would be licking his chops at that one.
And there we go. There's a nice wee double there left for Jamie. So let's see if Jack can make this shot
so
here.
First chance to have a good look at Jack Carrick. He normally plays lead in this Gallagher rink, but clearly playing second with the substitutes that are in the team today.
Looks a wee bit tight a line here, Scott, but he's got contact. Oh, he's made the double, so that's what they had to do. So let's see now if the Swiss rink will decide to get rid of that yellow. And he's indicating the draw, so he's coming right round, so he can still use that yellow. He's using it as a guard really, potentially. So
yeah, I think with that stone on the top of the house, this is quite aggressive really. I mean, although the Gallagher rink have got their noses in front, Bangerter would probably still see themselves as in control of this game at this stage. You know, they're 1 down, but they do have last stone, and this is quite an aggressive call really.
yep, and that's what we want to see. Plenty of stones in play. It's what makes the games interesting for us. This looks like he's going to catch the yellow here, mind. He's just struggling for weight a little bit. It's still going to be in the house, and it's going to give the Gallagher rink something to think about. Do they want to leave that stone there or make a play on it?
Yeah, Jamie will call quite a defensive game, I think, David. He'll want to make sure that he's still in the game, coming down sort of into the 7th, 8th end of this matchup this morning, which probably isn't good news for us watching.
Yeah. He's a wiry old fox, is Jamie.
He's certainly old. Just playing this at a nice quiet weight though.
He was unlucky just to roll out there, Scott.
Yeah, it was.
The down weight was really a show of experience. I mean, you quite often see a lot of these young teams throw big weight at that, and as a result, the shooter rolls out. But you don't always need that big weight, do you? It's more about the accuracy and where you're hitting the stone than about the big weight.
Yeah, I mean, if that had just shows small margins, the fact that had been sitting on the edge of the 12 foot there, would totally have changed this end. But great to see them playing the down weight and giving themselves that opportunity.
Kind of looks now, Scott, like we might be in for a blank end. They're just running this end out now.
Yeah, Jamie obviously has no other option but to hit this, so they're quite keen to get out of here with a blank as well, the Swiss boys, and I'm sure the Swiss guys will then start to look to rebuild and end up the next time.
Having said that, the Swiss now calling aggressively again, so they keep cashing us out here. So they've called to come round that yellow stone, which is a good aggressive call. Nothing wrong with that, of course. If they make the shot here, it's a good, sets them up again for getting their two.
No, great to see. And this is really what we want, isn't it? We want to see some good aggressive curling. I think with this shot, it's key to make sure that they're fully covered. So even if that means they slip back to back 8 foot, as long as they're lying shot, I think they'll be relatively happy as long as it's behind the guard.
It's got a lot of weight on it. Can Jamie sweep this out through? Had to sweep for line. No, hands on there is shot, so it's a good stone there really. The Gallagher rink has to deal with this. They'll be able to see half of that, so if they come down at a nice weight, they should get the curl to come round here and sit too.
Yeah, I think they'll just be looking to come down here at sort of... Well, he's taking very tight ice. I was expecting them to see a barrier weight here, David, but clearly they're just
must be able to see more than that. Thought, yep, that's right. You don't want to try and get too cute with that yellow and wreck on it, so they must be keeping the weight up.
I think they look fairly happy.
He's sweeping for the
curl. You can see
curl.
Bill Turner there trying to sweep to make that stone swing a wee bit more. What's your thoughts on that then, David? This directional sweeping, do you think it works?
Obviously this year with the change of fabric, they've tried to eliminate the amount of directional sweeping you can do, but there is still various thoughts on it. You do see some teams still using the one sweeper, some with the two sweepers, but I would say now it's definitely been proven that the sweepers furthest away from the stone isn't really doing anything, so even if they're not counteracting, they're not doing anything, so they're really saving their energies for the next stone, so you will tend to see one sweeper as opposed to the two.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly at down weight it certainly does make a difference. But when you up your weight, for me, you have to wait for the stone to grip and start to take the curl before it does make any difference.
Yeah. Certainly, we don't see it like we did before the change in fabric. You could really get the stones to move 2 feet with a really strong sweeper. But we don't have that now with these new fabrics, but there is definitely something still in it.
So that was a good shot there by the Swiss vice skip, and left Jamie a fairly simple run back. These are the sorts of shots that certainly the good teams that play week in week out would be expecting to make sort of 10 times out of 10 almost. So a simple nose hit.
I think he's fine there. So he's halved it out, but he has left that yellow guard there, so they're getting a third chance to just draw around this. But
yeah,
this is a skip's first stone, I believe, isn't it? So
yeah, it is. Jamie will be fairly happy with that one.
the stone's on its way, so let's see if they can make this draw. They would just like a little bit more separation than they had the last time. So to be dead buried on the tee line would be perfect, but like you say, anywhere behind that guard in line with it.
The Super seem to be happy with it from a weight perspective.
They're working hard for line. Yes, he's just caught the guard there, so Jamie should be able to deal with that quite easily.
Yeah, I think it's almost certainly going to be a blank game now. Very difficult for Jamie to hit and roll into the rings from this one. First objective would be to get rid of the blue, and then if we do manage to run into the rings, anything would be a bonus.
So there we go, Jamie hits that on the nose, and I'm sure we'll see a throw through, from Bangatar to retain the hammer for the next end. That's a blank end there, but we have to bring in apologies because the first end was actually a steal of 2 from the Gallagher rink, so the score is 2 to the Gallagher rink, 0 to Bangatar, the Swiss rink. Okay, so welcome back to the fourth end. A few technical problems there, but we're up and running now. So you see one Gallagher stone in the house. The Swiss Rink are going to persevere with the corner guard. They're really hoping to get a miss here from the Hamish Gallagher rink. If they can throw a corner guard and maybe get a nose hit off the Gallagher rink, give them the opportunity to come round behind the guard.
Is he getting it? He has, yes. It's a good deal.
Yeah, job done.
Pleased to see there's a few people in watching this afternoon's games.
Yeah, it's good to see a crowd of people here watching the games. There's also the World Junior Ice Hockey Championships on at the Ice Bowl, so it's a great chance for everyone to come along. They can see both sports here, and there's a good atmosphere going about at the ice rink this weekend, so please come along.
The facility's very busy, isn't it? So Van just trying to replace the guard, and I'm sure we'll see Jamie come straight out and look to just peel this guard off again.
Yeah, Jamie doesn't want to get too fancy, does he, Scott? You just have to play the scoreboard in these situations. They're 2 up, so they're not wanting to try anything fancy. Just clear these guards and make sure there's no cover for the Swiss rink to get behind.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm sure these guys will be quite comfortable with the situation, obviously, with Australia too.
That's right, Scott. I guess maybe try 1 or 2 more corner guards in. They perhaps want to make a play in the house. They could come round that yellow that's in the house, of course. There's enough. Certainly now that yellow's been moved into the top of the 8 foot, there's enough room for the Swiss rink to come round that if they want you. And there you see they've called it. So if they draw right behind that, they can lie shot in the 8 foot at the back.
Yeah, Scott Hislop got away with one there. He was very fortunate to jam that straight onto the yellow, but nevertheless he'll be quite happy with the result. But as you say, it does give Van a chance to come round behind that. And obviously the second option for them here, David, is just to freeze the front, although it looks like this is plenty of running. And that's a poor miss really at this level. These guys should be sitting in the hack telling the sweeper should be telling the player to make sure that you're not heavy in that situation.
Yep, and that gives the Gallagher rink here the chance to split the rings here. Make sure there's no double for the banter rink to play on, and then they're looking good for the force if they can do that.
Yes, with the house and the chance of a simple force. has come on a lot, David, in the last sort of 2-3 months since the start of the season. They're playing the simple shots well now, and teams have to play very, very well to beat them. And what an opportunity they've got at such a young age to continue to gain the experience at this stage. And as I said earlier, the big wins for Team Gallagher will come in 3 or 4 years' time from now.
Yeah, and like you say, that's what it's all about, isn't it? All you have to do is play the simple shots well and the rest will follow. There's no point trying to overcomplicate things. You can just keep things simple and you will get your chances. If you take them chances when they're there, that's what wins games, really.
Yeah, agreed. Certainly be patient, wait for your chance, and when it comes along, make sure you capitalise. And another half shot really here from the Swiss boys. I think they're just getting a wee bit rattled. So Jamie will be just looking to split the house here. And it's quite important that he gets this anywhere in, as long as he hits a paint, anywhere in the house will do. And the sweepers look relatively comfortable with it from what I can see out the window. Take the opportunity to update you on the scores from the other sheets. So in sheet A you can see it's a high scoring game. And there you can see in sheet B Cammy Bryce is continuing to dominate that game, 2-1 up after 3 ends. Clearly the game we're covering in sheet C, and the local rink like Graham Sloan looks like he's having a bit of a tough time for it on sheet D. Bruce Mowat, no surprises there that he's come out the blocks firing this morning, given that he was his defeat last night, and probably a bit of a surprise that the Mowat beaters last night and the Marshall rink are 3-0 down against Kraus, who I think is a Danish team. So we'll continue to keep you updated with the scores and the other sheets as we go through. So there we've seen the Swiss team try to come round that one on the right hand side as we look at it, and coming up short. So the Gallagher team actually now lie 2, and it's empty play. So undoubtedly looking to force their 1. Where would you be going here then, David? What would be your choice of shot?
Sorry, I just nipped away there, so I've came back. So Scott's landed me in the deep end. So yeah, the Gallagher rink lie 2 here, do they? Scott, is there a stone here behind Scott Hislop there?
Yeah, so they lie 2, and this is obviously the Jamie playing their last stone at the end, and obviously that Van Gerter will want to come. So I think called the right shot if they can try and get in behind these guards. Yeah,
just wrap one round, because they are staggered, them stones, aren't they, Scott? So that blue can't really be run back. If they can get completely round it, it'll force the Swiss rink to make the draw. So they've just missed the draw, so can they make it with the second one? That's what they really want them, force them to do.
Yeah, it's a bit of a free shot this really for Team Gallagher. They're in control, they've forced the 1 regardless. So they'll be looking to just try and get a better one round there. Maybe even show them half of it, so if you can bite the edge of the forefoot. this looks very high and looks a bit heavy as well. So
it's
a bit of a poor shot, really.
It's a high hard one here from Jamie, and it's not what was required at this stage at the end. It's actually left a bit of backing, and it's like we were talking about earlier. It's made the Swiss shot easy. So, they're looking here if they can split this for two. Now this is a very adventurous shot here. I feel like if they just have patience, they'll have an easier chance later on in the game to score their two. But they're deciding obviously it's worth the risk. But what they can't do is give up a steal here.
Yeah, it's quite a big call, really, isn't it? I mean, anywhere, I suppose, inside nose, and they've got the chance of certainly getting one and possibly rolling the shooter in for two as well.
Crucial to make their one here, though, Scott, isn't it?
It is. I'm not just sure what we would be doing if we were in this situation. I think I would be encouraging our skip to play the draw. Especially the way he's been thrown it this weekend. It looks like the decision's made though, and this is they're trying to force their two.
And so we'll soon find out. The last rock's on its way now, so the sweepers are on it straight out his hand. Like you say, there is options here. They can make their single more than one way, but
what they can't be though, David, is tight and give up a steal, a big steal.
A steal of three. And well, he was lucky he jammed the back one,
but certainly a steal of three. So that's why it was such an aggressive call. So I'm sure
played it at big weight as well, Scott, didn't they? I don't know if they needed that weight to make that shot, but they felt it was worth the risk. But really, that's a bad mistake now. So they've find themselves 4 down at the halfway mark.
Yeah, I'm sure Jamie and the rest of Team Gallagher will feel like their Christmases have came all at once. There we got a look at the delivery of.
Yeah, that was a good bit of camera work there, Scott. Yep. So here we see Jamie is not, of course, wanting guards now. 4 up in the 5th end, so it's when you tell your lead, don't be short. And he's played it nicely into the 4-foot there. So just slipped behind the tee, so it's not perfect, but it's a good shot there. And the Swiss boys decide that they want to play a centre guard this time. They really need to score their 2 here, if not 3 really, to try and get back in this game. So.
Yeah, I quite like this call actually, and we see teams playing it more and more nowadays. That once they go more than 2 down, they try and throw a centre guard and try and create a 2 or a 3 that way.
That's right. Just try and get some stones in play, Scott, and get something going. That's a danger. Sometimes you play corner guards and you never get to use them because the defending team throw stones in the house and you're busy trying to move them. You never get a chance to come around the corner guards. So yeah, they're putting on the centre guard here and they're just wanting stones in play. Jamie, I think, probably come round this again.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It sort of plays into both teams' hands, that though, doesn't it? I mean, if Jamie wants to be quite aggressive and almost call the bluff for the Swiss boys, if we can get one right round up at the top of the 8-foot here, half behind that blue to show 2 halves of the yellows. The Swiss guys are going to have to play some good shots this end to move them yellows.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. I mean, the Gallagher rink's playing well, aren't they? So they're not afraid and they don't mind just applying the pressure on the Swiss rink, and see they could effectively kill this game off here with another steal here. So they'll just want to keep doing the same of what they've been doing the first 4 ends and keep that pressure on.
Yeah, and hopefully this is where the experience of Jamie will tell. Once or twice the Gallagher rink this year have got complacent when they've got up in the game. So hopefully we'll see Jamie make sure that they keep concentrating, keep making the simple shots well, and I think as long as they do that, they should come out with a victory in this game.
So I'm looking down at the other games here, Scott, and see there's a 4 being scored by the Hess Rink against Cameron Bryce, so that takes them 5-2 up. So that's a good scoreline there for the Hess Rink. Cameron Bryce, obviously one of the teams that will be expecting to be in the mix at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, I think Cammy and his team will be quite fancied. They've obviously they're a young Scottish team, Scottish junior champions from last year, and looking to, I think their objective this year was to climb up the world rankings to get somewhere between 50 and 75. So they're just slightly outside of that just now. I think they're 79th in the world, I think, at the minute. But their objective for this season was to try and keep into that top 75, and with this event, and then obviously they've got Perth Masters coming up in the early new year, they would be looking to progress into that top 75.
They will also be top of the Scottish Curling Tour, won't they? And I think this event contributes towards that. So they won at Braehead, and they've had some points in elsewhere, so they're top of that now.
Yeah, no, that's right, David. They had a good win at Braehead, and I think they were beating finalists here at the Scottish Tour event earlier on in the year. So
it's a different lineup this year, isn't it, for Cameron Bryce? He's got Ross in playing third stones. Ross was skipping his own rink last year, but then went to the World Juniors, like you say, with Cameron last year, so he's came into that rink to play in the place, I think, of Fraser Shaw. So that combination does seem to be working for them. I think they've won a World Curling Tour event as well. Was it the Tallinn event? Tallinn is at Estonia, I think, maybe last month. So Latvia, sorry.
Yeah,
so
it's
they're
a European Tour event. Yeah. So no, as you say, Ross White came in. Obviously a local boy here at Dumfries. He came in as the 5th man at the World Junior Championships last year, and clearly that worked. So they've brought him in at bike skip this year, and actually 3 of that Cammy Bryce team are still in juniors. So Cammy himself's too old, but he's taken on the role of team coach. And
that's right, and Fraser Kingan comes into play, doesn't he?
Fraser Kingan comes into play, second stones. So back to this game, and there was a nose of the guard there by Gallagher, which has given Bangerter something to work with. But I think but Jamie's playing the right shot here, looking to get rid of the one in the house when they can see it. They're 4 up. They don't want to leave any of the opposition stones in the house.
That's the thing, Scott. You see, some teams would get caught up clearing the guards here, but the problem is if you take the guards off here, you just give the Bangerter rink a chance to put a better guard on. So sometimes you're better taking the one in the house when you can see it. He's played this very well, picked that blue off the top, so yellow's set shot in the 4-foot really, on the 1-foot. So
yeah, it just goes back to what we said before, doesn't it? You play the simple shots well, and certainly against this Gallagher team, the opposition are going to have to play well to beat them.
So he called the come round there, and he's just caught the guard, Scott, and left the centre guard. So
yeah, and this, I'm not sure I like this call from Jamie, just to try and tap this yellow in. This is where they don't need to get greedy. They're lying their one. I think if this was myself, I would be calling Bangerter's bluff now, and just to try and throw another guard, to try and double guard them blues somehow.
Yep. Problem is the now, Scott, isn't it? Either of them blues can be used to run back in. There's no stagger on them at all. So
no, and that's why I would like, just a guard, probably just somewhere over the hog line, just to try and cover as much of the 2 blues as you can. With playing this shot, you possibly could open it up and leave them open the draw to the 4-foot up, certainly.
And like you say, they've just got that on the high side, and they've pushed that yellow into a place that's not really much used to the Gallagher. They do lie 2, they'll do lie 3, sorry, but
they do. But what it does do is give the Swiss guys a big target when playing their run back.
Yeah, you're right. You've just created a big pocket there.
Almost a 3-feet target for them to hit, and these guys, I'm sure, would be accurate enough to be making this shot. So I think old wise head and Mr. Strawhorn has let him down there, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes when you get to Jamie's age, of course, by the 5th end you're getting quite tired, so
Well,
we'll let him off.
do you think we should take him a packet of Haribo? And that was the trouble with playing that shot, David. They just opened that draw up for them guys there.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, unfortunately, Jamie has only himself to blame. They were in a good position and just got slightly greedy.
Yes, we've got a bit of a guddle going on here now. He's called the corner freeze, which isn't a bad shot. If he makes this perfect, it does close that scoring area down all the time. So
it does, but again, look, we're in control, or Gallagher's in control of the game here. He's 4 up. Losing a 1 or 2 in this end is not a disaster, really. So the miss here would be shorter rather than heavy. They certainly don't want to come up and bounce this.
No, it looks good though, Scott.
The weight does look good, and this is what I was saying earlier on about Scott Hislop. He's such a key player to this team. That when he's playing these, he's such a good touch player that when he's playing well and making these shots, it makes it very, very difficult for the opposition to beat them.
Yeah, because it was a crucial stone there, really, Scott. They got themselves in a wee bit of difficulty, and now the Swiss team are forced to this run back, which is no easy shot. So you said Jack Strawhorn normally plays in this rink, but he's actually ill, I believe, at home now, so hopefully he's watching this in the YouTube feed, so I wonder what he'll be thinking about this.
Well, I'm sure he'll be quite happy with the performance. I'm sure he would much rather be down there playing rather than being at home. But
yeah, that's right, and hopefully it gets better and maybe have the chance to come along and play against the Tom Brewster rink, which they're playing tomorrow, I believe. So
Bruce Mowat tonight they play.
Oh, Bruce Mowat, sorry.
Yeah. You're getting a bit excited there, David. I
think
we play Tom Brewster tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll maybe see Jack along at the ice rink playing in that game. So
while David updates the graphics, we're now on Skip's first zones.
Yes, David will just do that. What are we on?
And obviously the graphics have not been updated by the umpires downstairs yet.
No,
so we'll maybe take them off the screen for now, but bring them back on in 5 or 10 minutes time. I think so. Jamie will just be playing a simple shot here, so try and hit the red, that's the blue, sorry, that's in front of Scott Hislop. Possibly try and check over and tap the yellow into shot. Well, I don't know what happened there, David, whether that picked up or whether it was just a poor throw from Jamie, but that has certainly changed the end. Well, we can see Jamie indicating there that he just threw that one over himself, so obviously a lack of concentration and just threw it tight, and he'll be kicking himself with that one, that's for sure.
It's the Swiss rink really here have to make a play on that yellow, don't they, that's on the top of the button, so It's all about, they need to try and move it, but they also need to create a little bit of separation between the blue stones here, because you really fancy Jamie to make a double on these blues if they leave them pretty close together. It's going to be hard for them not to leave them bunched up here, just the way the stones are sitting.
Yeah, a wee bit of discussion. Obviously, quite an important shot in this game, given that they're 4 down. They're trying to create a score of 2 at the very least, and possibly even a 3. Whether they can hit and check off this top yellow at the minute, just at a sort of back ring hack weight. I think they would quite like to be able to touch their own blue to move the backing away from that, so move that back yellow back out the 4 foot at the back of the house as well, if possible. Yeah, and there we've clearly seen the vice skip for Bangerter indicate what they want to do, so come down as we look at it and catch this yellow stone on the right hand side and flop over to the right. And that Team Gallagher then would be in a very, very vulnerable position. Jamie would need to play a good one with his last one, or he could be facing, he could be looking at losing a 3.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. The blue we see on the tee line now really isn't going anywhere, is it? It's frozen right on the face of that yellow. So let's see if they can make this shot. They've had a few misses here, so they really need to start making these shots if they want to try and get themselves back into the game.
Yeah, the sweepers are now working hard. It looked like it was high when it left his hand, given by the gesture that the vice skip made.
There we go. He was quite fortunate there was a yellow there to catch that shooter, but I guess he knew that, and he knew that if he was going to miss it, he would miss it on the high side. So
yeah, so I think Scott Hislop's pretty clear the shot that he wants to play, and that is definitely the right shot. I think if they take the double in the top 2 blues, the most that the Swiss boys can then get is a 2, obviously.
Yeah.
I think Jamie's talking about trying to just hit and flop into the top one, but then they do risk losing a 3 that way.
As long as they get it on the inside, Scott, they can almost bounce off that blue on the tee line, can't they? Come back up the hill, almost a Hammy McMillan round the world shot, and punch that top blue out. So anywhere on the inside's good. No,
that's right, David. I think for anything from half to quarter stone or even less, and they're going to get rid of 2 blues. So a bit of a crucial shot here for Jamie and Team Gallagher. Yeah, and he's played it very well, David. That certainly has made up for his previous shot.
You got that perfect. And is there a shot for 2 here, Scott? I think there is somewhere, but it's no easy shot.
The simple shot for 2, David, is just to draw down and draw the 1 foot for your 2. You've got your blue to come and lie against as well.
Yeah, you think they're lying shot? I suppose they maybe are.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they're possibly looking at whether there's some way a manufacturing a 3 here.
Well, I feel like they're taking a risk on. They don't have to here, Scott. If they just make sure of their 2, and get themselves back in the game, they're not really needing to score 3. Because if they give up a steal, or even if they're forced to 1, it's not really very good for them.
No, I mean they need to score 2 here. They obviously think that the nose hit guarantees them their 2 as well, obviously. But I think the draw to the 1 foot with backing is probably the easier shot, but nevertheless they're playing with what they're comfortable. Anything high here though, and we could see, just as you say, a score of 1. and we called it that anywhere high and they would only score the one, and that's what's happened. So another get out of jail free card there really for Team Gallagher. They'll be delighted with that outcome. So as they move into the fifth end, they are 3 up with last stone.
Yeah, I feel if they could play that against Scott, they would pick a different call. It was always a high risk shot going after that for their 2.
Yeah, apologies for my mistake there. That was the fifth end. So Bangerter gets his underplay here in the sixth end with a straightforward, simple guard, and we see Jamie choose, as indicated, to get Bill Turner to come in behind that.
Yeah, really that was mission accomplished, wasn't it, for the Gallagher rink there in the last end. All they wanted to do was force Bangerter to take their single, and now Gallagher have got the hammer back, so 3 up with the hammer with 3 ends to go. It really is a good place for the Gallagher rink to be in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would be looking to score in this end, so even if they're forced to win here, and even if you lose a 1 or 2 in the next end, you're still going to be you're still in control going into the last end with last stone.
That's right, Scott. It's all about the even ends, isn't it? You want the hammer on your even end so you can end up going up the last with hammer.
Certainly when you get to this stage of the game, David, I think some teams do try and make sure they're scoring with the even ends too early on in the game. But I think once we've got to the stage where it's 3 ends left, I think they'll be quite comfortable to take their 1 this end. Mission accomplished. They should win the game from there.
So here we see Bangerter. He's trying to put another centre guard on here, so he only needs to be in line, because you see his young rinks are so good at their hitting, they can make the double peel, so you want these 2 guards to be dead in line with as much separation as possible.
Yeah, ideally I think they would have liked their first one to be nearer the ring so they could have got a bit more separation. It's quite difficult to drop this one just over the hog line, and it looks like they're working it hard. We hear the slam of the brush, so unfortunately they haven't managed to get that one over. So I'm sure Jamie, we see him indicate he'll just want to try and come round there, top of the tee this time, and really put some pressure on this Swiss team. So there we see the scores and the doors and the other sheets. It's the umpires that are actually updating this, so they are an end or so behind. But we can clearly see the 4 from Hess against Cammy Bryce, and that'll be a shock for Cammy to lose this game, or certainly how the game's going just now, David.
Yeah, definitely, and when you start off the game with a late shot as well, you really expect to take full advantage of that and go on. But there you see the Hess team they're here to win this weekend as well, as are all the teams. So that's sport, isn't it, Scott? You never take anything for granted. We've seen that last night. Bruce Mowat, really the on-form Scottish team, they now got defeated. So you can just take nothing for granted. If you come up, play your shots well, then you can give any team a run for their money. No,
that's right, which leads us nicely on. So Mowat obviously has come out the blocks this morning, and as we can see is 4-0 up.
Yeah, they've obviously put that loss behind them last night, Scott, and really you expect a team of that calibre to be able to do that, and that's something they can certainly do. Put it behind them and move on with their next game, concentrate on each game as it comes.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, not long back from Canada from winning the Grand Slam event, the first Scottish team to accomplish that, and I believe the youngest ever skip to win a Grand Slam event in Canada as well. So a huge accomplishment for Mowat and his young team.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. 23-year-old. So as you say, that's the youngest skip ever to. And winning that event obviously gives him an automatic entry into the Pinty's Grand Slam of curling in April. So that's a great achievement for that team. So. It's just a new team this year as well, Scott, so for them to have achieved so much, they won back-to-back events in the World Curling Tour at the start of the season, didn't they? So really that's the team you've got to fancy it coming up for the Scottish in February. So
undoubtedly, I think they'll go into that week hot favourites. Obviously Team Brewster as will be there or thereabouts as well. As will Greg Drummond and his team.
I've seen a big shake-up of the teams this year, Scott, haven't we? After the Olympic cycle, once that Olympic team was chosen, all the teams really disbanded, with David Murdoch retiring and Grant deciding not to skip his own team. We've seen a big change in all the teams, so it's made for an interesting year. So it'll be interesting come the week of the Scottish to see. Of course, the team that wins the Scottish won't automatically represent Scotland at the Worlds. They will have a play-off against the Olympic team of Kyle Smith to decide who goes to Las Vegas. So
yeah, that's right. So whoever wins the Scottish Championship will then have to play the Olympic team and Kyle Smith in the best of three, is my understanding, David.
Yes, 3 sounds like a good number. No, but seriously, that will be a good event, and hopefully there'll be some buzz around that event in Scottish curling. Something you need, some playdowns like that. Some would say it was a shame that didn't happen for the Olympic selection. I've no doubt that the Kyle Smith rink was the right team to go to the Olympics, but when you look last week at the Roar of the Rings in Canada and the amount of buzz it creates around this sport, you kind of feel that it might be something that we're missing in this country. It's such a big thing to go and represent your country at the Olympics, and for us not to have a qualifying event, something that we could maybe have in the future, and create a bit of interest in the sport.
So there we see a couple of bad shots for Jack Carrick at second. His first one he missed the peel in the guards, and then obviously a clean miss with his second one as well, which has given the initiative back to Bangerter. But I don't think the Team Gallagher need to panic just quite yet at this stage. Wow, and that really is a bad miss from Bangerter and his team, and I'm sure the skip will be annoyed at his player after that shot.
Yeah, the Bangerter won't be too disappointed about how this end is shaping up, however, Scott. They have got their 2 centre guards and they do lie short in the forefoot, so before you know it, there is a lot of stones going out and playing. That's just what happens. You obviously seen the miss there from Jack Carrick, and it's just putting them a wee bit under pressure. Really, the Gallagher rink could do to make this shot, just to try and swing this end round.
Yeah, I think, let's just see where this one finishes up. Obviously they were trying to play that at a slightly down weight, I think even possibly just to come up onto the nose of that one. Unfortunately they've just caught it high and rolled off, and this really gives Bangerter a great chance now to hit and flop over there. They might even play the dead draw, I'm not sure. I
think they called the come round, Scott, and that blue is it's still in shot position. It's back tee, and it really is the Bangerter's friend being back tee. They want as many stones as play as possible here.
Yeah. And just to update you on sheet B, I can confirm that Hess has stolen another one, and he is now 6-2 up against the young team of Cammy Bryce. And there's been another change of lineup in that team, David. I don't know if do you have any information on that?
On Cameron Bryce's team. Don't know about that, Scott. I think I've seen something about it on Twitter, but I'd really have to ask Kenny Edwards. He's the man in the know for these curling inside knowledge. So there the Gallagher rink came round again, but they've just dropped back tee, and stone position is crucial there, Scott. They could really have done with that to be tee high, couldn't they, and force Bangerter to have to make a play on it. But as it is, they can just come down in and lie shot top tee.
What it has done, David, is taken that back blue one out of play. So you're right that a good stone here would allow them to certainly force the one at the very worst. If you're in Bangerter's camp. But clearly they would be looking to steal here, and they have got an opportunity. I mean, I think they'll be looking here probably not even to worry about freezing on this yellow, but actually sit top of the button right behind these guards.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think the freeze is a particularly good shot, because it gives the Gallagher chance of time to come on top of you again. But no, he's came down and played the freeze, and there we have it. Scott Hislop just indicating the freeze again to Jamie. If they can score a 1 here, it's no bad result for the Gallagher rink, isn't it? They're not worried about getting forced. Going 4 shots up with 2 ends to go.
No, I think a good stone here, and it will actually make it very, very difficult for Bangerter to get in with his last stone. And there we have some confirmation of the scores on the other sheets, as we've talked about. Steal a 1 for Hess to go 6-2 up.
The shore rink has been forced to their 1 against Bruce Mowat, so Bruce Mowat is 3 up with hammer going into the 6th end. And
the sweepers are working this one hard. As long as it's got the weight, though, it looks like it's got a lovely line.
Yeah, it looks a good shot here, Scott, and that's just what he needed. Jamie's had a couple of slack wins the last couple of ends, so that'll just settle him down a bit.
Yeah, we heard some applause in the crowd up here behind the glass at Dumfries as well. So
yeah, there's a bit of local support, and they obviously approve of that shot.
Yeah, that was a really, really good shot by Jamie there.
Yeah, I don't see a shot here where Bangerter can lie shot here now, Scott, can you? There's a really tough run double there, but that is a tough shot.
Well, he's looking at the angled raise, David, so come down as we look at it and catch.
Yeah, I think you have to run it back in and take the double off the yellow, do you?
3/4 of the... No, I think if he catches 3/4 of the stone that his brush is at the top of the house there, and sort of stick it on the top yellow, we'll see that top yellow leave, possibly the back yellow as well.
So here we go, Bangerter's last stone, and it's on its way. Playing the angled raise.
The sweepers are hanging off it at the minute. It certainly looks slightly high.
Well, can he play the double off the yellow and lie 3 here, Scott? That's what he's looking at.
what he doesn't want to do is give up his 1-0. I think that 5-1 up. I think I would be tempted here, David, just to take my 1 and move on. 4 up with 2 ends to play. You would take that in most matches, would you not?
Yep. It's very tempting though. What is the call here, do you know?
So I think he's indicated that he's going to try and come down there at strike weight, catch quarter to half of the stone that we can't see in front of Scott Hislop, and come across and take the blue out back of the button to lie 3.
That would surely be the game at this stage, so
yeah, I think
there is a shot here to win the game, so probably right to take it.
There is also an opportunity if he catches too much of this yellow to potentially
punch your own yellow out the top.
Yeah, I think that maybe is there. So, but as you say, an opportunity to win the game here in the 6th end. Well, has he done enough to roll in there for second shot, David?
Definitely one, but I think it's the only one by indicating, but we've had this wrong before in this game, so
we have.
We'll put the 1 up now temporarily and wait till the score goes up on the scoreboard. But it looked like 1 there. It was a good shot by Jamie, but just didn't quite get the roll in for the second shot.
To update you in the Hess-Price game, Cammy did manage to get his 2 in the 6th end. So the score in that game now is Hess 6, Cameron Bryce 4. At this stage now, David, I don't think Jamie will want too many stones lying about here. I'm not just sure whether he's called to go top 4 foot or whether he's actually just called to throw it through.
Yeah, I mean, top 4 foot's fine if you make it, isn't it? But you don't want to be short and you don't really want to be long either. You would see some people throw it through here, but he's called top 4. He's obviously confident that his lead can make this shot.
Yeah, the sweepers are certainly working hard on it, but I think it's going to creep into the top of the house certainly. So job done. The only concern with playing that shot, David, is that it does give Van Gerter something to play with, or when you then start to peel your guards, you've got an object in the house that you want to avoid. I think at this stage in the second last end of the match, you're 4 up. I would be looking to just throw that one through the house and not give Van Gerter any opportunity to build an end.
Tend to agree with you there, Scott. Even though it is a good stone, it's just in the top 12. It can be used later to come round. It can potentially be used as a guard, or like you say, it can get in the way when you're trying to clear up some guards. But that's the game that they've been playing for this whole game, so that's what's working for them, isn't it? So they obviously feel they just want to continue with that. It's a long guard there from the Van Gerter team, and we have seen on this ice that guards that far out, they're really not much good because there's so much curl on the ice. You can come round them and bump shots out, but we'll probably see them sling another guard round that closer to the house with their second shot. Try and have a guard that's useful to them.
Yeah, and again, Jamie's indicated to come round here, and the last thing they want to do is slip back tee.
Yeah, this is an aggressive call here, isn't it, from the Gallagher rink? So where does the lead come from, Scott, that's playing in lead for the Gallagher rink today?
Yeah, I think he's a local boy as well, David, Bill Turner. He plays with another junior team in the under 21s from Dumfries here.
Okay.
So I think the shot here was just to come up and try and freeze the yellow top of the house, David.
And they've curled off it slightly, but I think Jamie, yes, straight out to that guard. He's not interested in that blue in the house. He just needs to get the guards off, doesn't he, Scott?
Yeah, ignore anything in the house at this stage. Just get this long guard off, and I think at that point we would probably see the Brigadier team try and replace that for 1 or 2 shots. But the trouble is they don't have time on their side, do they? I mean, we're now in the 7th end, and they need to score 4 in the next 2 ends to force an extra. So
yeah, they're running out of stones here quickly.
They're certainly running out of ends.
This is near that, just slips past that guard, Scott. It lifts that one out of the house, and even though it was their own stone, it's no disaster really. They would probably, that stone wasn't helping them much, but they would have liked to have cleared that guard
No,
there.
I think obviously the objective was to clear the guard, but to pick the one in the house is certainly wasn't doing them any favours, that stone sitting there, although it was their own stone.
There's a slight stagger on the yellows and the blue in the house, isn't there, Scott? So if Bangerter can wrap one round here now, it's really taken 2 stones to get at it here from the Gallagher rank. They've got to clear the top guard, and they've got the staggered guards down at the house.
Yeah, they have. So that's why it was critically important really for Team Gallagher to clear that guard at that opportunity. But nevertheless, they're still in control of the game. A poor shot at this stage of the game when trying to come round that guard and tick it over.
Yeah, you've not got many chances left, have they, with the Bangerter rank? They really have to start taking these chances when they've got them.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no mistakes this time from Jack Carrick. Peels that guard. Yeah, still a chance here. Like we said, them stones are staggered, so if Bangerter can get one wrapped round, there is a chance here they can get there too. Well, he's just not got head in there with that one, Scott, has he? And
no, so this, it's just a bread and butter shot now for Scott Hislop at a third for Team Gallagher. He'd be looking to just, and I don't think he'll really want to lie about here, David. I think
that's right. You're not trying to roll in behind the guards, are you? Because you end up behind T and almost can get used against you. So
just a simple peel, which looks like he's executed quite nicely.
Yeah, that's just what they wanted. However, it does give the Bangerter the chance to come round the staggered guards again, and they will try. So it's just not been making these shots when they have to at the crucial times.
No, just exactly, David. So while they're playing this shot, we can turn our thoughts to this afternoon's game in the red section. So we have the Spanish guys in Vez playing the young Team Carson. Brewster plays Stally, and Team Hare plays against Team Bar. Have you got any comments to make on them games?
Obviously the Brewster rank's undefeated so far in the competition, aren't they? And you fancy them really to win. Young Struan Carson is a local rank, and they actually took the Swiss team to an extra end last night, so by no means rule them out. They're here to cause upsets along the way. It really becomes a must-win game for the Fraser Hare rank, doesn't it, after the defeat this morning, which of course me and you were playing in, Scott. So
yeah, exactly. I think clearly we're quite disappointed after that result this morning, but hopefully we can come out fighting this afternoon and get another win on the board. So back to this game, and I mean, I think in this situation you would just be looking to hit these blues as hard as you can, David. Would you not try and
make them go away? So it's not straightforward just the way they're sitting, but I think if you throw enough heat at that top one and just get it off nose, the two blues will go.
There we can see the scores from the other sheets out in the ice hall at the minute, and some one-sided games there really. So a good shot by Scott Hislop there. I think he'll be quite happy with that. He's cleared all the stones from the front of the house now.
He has sprung the blue into Scott, and if Bangerter can get a bit of separation here, they're looking good to score there too. So
yeah, but I think if Gallagher was to lose to this end, I don't think they'd be too disappointed with that, would they?
No, I think you're right. 2 up with hammer is a nice place to be in, going up the last end. And
absolutely. And yet again another bad miss from Bangerter to throw that one through the house.
Yeah, and you really feel that that's game over with that miss there, Scott, don't you? They had to make their 2 here.
Yeah, it was critical for them to make 2, and you can see how disappointed the player is there by taking the frustration out with his brush. So do you know much about the Bangerter rank then, David? Where they're ranked?
They're definitely from Switzerland.
Yeah, I think. It has been a good performance this by the Gallagher team, David. Really quite impressive.
Yeah, definitely, Scott, and it's a good win for them. Really, they've never been under any pressure the whole game, so hopefully they can carry a bit of that momentum forward tonight when they play Bruce Mowat. So looking at the games here, I think Hamish Gallagher will be top of the section after this result if they go on to win this game. Maybe second. It is of course ranked on the draw shot challenge, isn't it? Or is it head to head first then draw shot challenge in the group section? So Hamish obviously won his game last night, so he's on 1-0, so this is going to take him to 2-0. We'll also see the Mikkel Krausrink from Denmark. They won last night as well, so they'll also go on 2-0.
So a wee bit of indecision here, David. Clearly this is Team Gallagher's last stone with Bangerter one to come. So the objective really is to try and force Bangerter to take his one. So you've got two ways of doing that. You can either draw to the other side of the house and split the rings and lie two, or you can try and chip this blue out. Yeah,
for me, Scott, I think it's just a straightforward draw to split the house. You would hope by the 7th end your skip knows his draw weight. As long as he draws anywhere line second shot over where Scott Hislop's indicating and doesn't leave a double, then it's a pretty straightforward force.
Yeah, I agree. Quite an interesting dynamic this, where Jamie, obviously the guy with all the experience, I think he would have quite liked to have played the hit on the blue, but Scott looks like he's got his way. He was determined that Jamie should be playing the draw, and I think it's a right call to make. There's not much separation between that blue and yellow. Play the simple shot, make them play the difficult shot.
Yeah, there's not much margin for error, is there, on picking that blue? So
no, I mean, you're talking, inches really, aren't you? Yeah. He's got 8 feet to play with here.
Yeah, you've got a big area to draw to here. So, and I'm sure Jamie will make this shot. It's good to see a bit of discussion there between Scott and Jamie. You need both the thrower and the vice to be happy with the shot that's getting played. So I'm sure he'll make this.
David and I just having a discussion there offline here in the commentary box, and as David rightly indicates, that even if Jamie wasn't to make this shot, it would still be very difficult for Bangerter to make two, given where that blue is situated. But that's irrelevant now. A good shot there by Jamie.
As a double there, Scott, you have to hit what you can see that yellow, which is not a lot. It's a tough shot, and I don't think it's there.
No, I think looking at the angles from on the screen, certainly you need to hit probably a quarter or just less of that yellow stone to get the right angle to come across onto this one, and I'm not just sure whether he'll see enough from the hack to be able to do that. Very difficult shot, but it's
they're taking a bit of ice for this shot.
One is not good enough at this stage of the game.
No, I think you have to go for this.
As you say, they're taking a lot of ice, David, and the only way they're going to get the yellow that's in the 4 foot, so just to the left, the Bangerter vice skip, as we look at it, is to play quite a bit of weight at this.
Oh, definitely. You've got to move that second stone 4 feet, haven't you? So really, I would suggest you have to throw a bit of heat at this to get both stones moving.
Yeah, no, I think it has to be the high hard one. I think by the way the vice skip's looking, he's slightly high, and this could be another steal of 2 here for yellows, and I think indeed it is.
That was just a case of too much ice there, Scott.
Handshakes come.
And so there we have it.
Another convincing win for Team Gallagher. They now move on to 2-0, and would have they would certainly be looking or expecting to come out of this group now. So a great win for the young Dumfries team.
Yeah, and we don't have the skills to move over to another sheet, do we, Scott? Or else we might have switched over to Cameron Bryce's game to see the closure of it. But here's a man here that can assist us out. So maybe if we could go on to rank B, David, we would see the conclusion of the Cameron Bryce game. Cameron Bryce stole in the 7th end, so he's now 1 down without hammer going into the last end.
Yeah, and while David's just sorting us out here in the commentary box, and there we go, as we can see, Angus Dowell now playing lead stones for the Cameron Bryce rink. A good lead and a successful lead, and has medals at world level in his own right. And a good first stone, albeit he may well have wanted that to be on the centre line. So the score here is, and the graphics have yet to be updated, but the score here is Hess 6, Cameron Bryce 5. So Cameron Bryce is 1 down without last stone, playing the final end of the game.
That just shows you the experience of this Cameron Bryce team, doesn't it, Scott? I mean, they were 6-2 down and they've battled their way back into this now, so the momentum really will be with that team here, so can't best close this game out.
You know, they're match fit, David. This team play a lot of curling.
Yeah, these boys spend a lot of time in the gym. So Cammy Bryce will be quite happy how this end's set up, Scott. They've got their two guards, although they're not on the centre line, they are two guards and they're guarding really the edge of the forefoot, so he's just called to come round both of them here.
Yeah, experienced team in this situation really is the Bryce team, so as you say, although the guards are not quite on the centre line, they'll be relatively happy. I think what we will see though is the Hess team are always going to have this in-turn draw to the forefoot, and that's why you'll see them hitting the open one here, because regardless of where them guards are, the best chance Cammy Bryce has got to win in this game is to throw a draw right round behind them guards, and in doing that Hess will always have a draw to the forefoot to win the match. And it's quite a big match this in this game, in this section. So both on one win and no losses.
Needs a better line this time. He's tight by the guard, but he's just a wee bit heavy, I doubt, Scott. But what does Hess do here? Does he chase after that, or does he go? He's going straight out to the guards, isn't he?
He'll take this, just a single guard, and I think this has shown quite a bit of experience, really, David. We would see a lot of teams try and run the double peel here, and actually the top guard really isn't in play. Yeah,
it's not a danger to them, really, is it? It's only covering the edge of the 8 foot.
Quite a sensible call. Again, I don't know much about this young Hess team.
So there we go, and I think we'll see Cameron put a centre guard on here. If they can just run a few stones out by putting a centre guard on, and then they'll probably hope to come top of the forefoot with their last.
A wee bit of good fortune there, David, by they actually, when peeling the guard, they jammed on the one in the wing, so
stick the
that
shooter
red
in.
Stone might come into play yet.
Yeah, just keep your eye on that one there.
what it does do is make Hess's job a bit easier when it comes to playing his last stone. If he doesn't need to hit and lie, if he just needs to make sure he makes contact with the short stone. Them two teams are the hot favourites to lift the Scottish Junior Championship and go on to represent Scotland at the World Juniors, actually on home ice this year, which is in Aberdeen. Well, a wee bit of good fortune there. I thought they were just going to tickle that top blue and miss everything, but it just squeaked past the top one and actually got to almost nose of the back one, which Cammy Bryce has no option now but to go after this. Are you surprised to see him go after this one, David? Or?
Well, I think you really have to make a play in it, don't you?
He obviously wants to try and hit and flop over and lie too. So I'm not just sure how much the vice skip for Hess will see of this top one.
Yeah, and I don't think this is the shot they should be going after, Scott. I really feel they should move the one in the back of the button now. This guard is only really guarding the edge of the forefoot. They've still got the whole of the forefoot open to them, but this guard's not in play. You see them taking this guard, you'll see Cameron put a better one on, which will be in the centre line, probably top 8, and it will really make Hess's job a whole lot harder.
Yeah, agreed. I would be. I think I would have liked them to see them try and take that one back of the forefoot, because now we'll probably see Cammy Bryce put one top 8 foot on the centre line.
Yep. Well. He's
surprised at that.
Yeah, he obviously thinks he wants to make Hess sit. He wants to sit 2 and make Hess play against 2 with his last one, force him to hit and stick. But I kind of feel if they played one up the centre here, they could have a good chance of the steal.
So what Cammy obviously thinks that if if drawn behind this guard, the Hess rink will go after the open one, and obviously Cammy would be hoping for a miss at that stage and allow him to draw a second one round the guard, and actually rather than leave Hess an easy shot for the extra end, he might even manage to steal 2 and win the game in this end.
Do you feel with this, Scott, this choice, you're going to leave a nose hit for the game, or indeed a draw to the forefoot. So really you're relying on the Hess rink missing that shot.
Yeah, I think if you were the Hess team now, you would be looking to make a play on the open one at the back.
Yeah, get that one moved.
You actually don't even need to sit about with it. Even if you were to hit and run, you're still going to have a draw at the forefoot to win the game.
I think you're right, Scott. I think you don't actually want to sit. If you nose hit that, then Cameron come down top 4, then you've got to negotiate that back one when you're making the hit with your last stone.
Yeah, so I think the umpires have went for a coffee break, unfortunately, and have not been updating the scores, but I'll try and do it from the commentary box here. So Schneider on sheet A is now 6-5 up after 7 ends, so he's 1 up. Clearly we're watching the Bryce game as we speak. Gallagher has won his game. Candra has beat the local rinker Graham Sloan. Mowat has beat Shaw, and Krause has beat Marshall. So 2 games left on the ice. So Schneider playing Youngen, and the one that we're watching.
And he plays that well, Scott, hits and rolls out, and I think that's what he wanted to do. So where does Cameron go with this shot here?
So they've indicated the first thought was to freeze the back one. I think in playing that you're giving Hess a draw to the 4 foot. I quite like that call by Ross White. If you could come back around, and even if you show them two halves of the Blues, I think we're possibly looking at an extra hand here, really, David.
Yes, like you say, Scott, he's called the draw round the blue that he's through with his first one, but it does leave the whole of the button left for Hess to draw, so I'm sure he'll be confident he'll make that in the 8th end. It's really a skip's dream, is it not? A draw full 4 foot for the game.
Yeah, at this level you would expect expecting them to make that shot. It's looking like an extra end over in sheet A as well. So Blues are lying one good one frozen on the button with a lot of stones in play, but looks very, very difficult for them to be able to get in for a second shot there. We'll maybe try and skip to that game if Hess can manage to win the game with this next shot.
Well, that's a good draw there from Cameron, isn't it, Scott? And it's almost, you don't know what shot to play here. Do you play the draw? Do you play the hit?
Yeah, I think they've made their mind up fairly quickly here. Having said that, there's maybe a bit of discussion when the player, when Hess himself got down to the hack, they were looking to play just a sort of hack weight, come down onto the nose of this one. They've possibly changed their mind now and reduced the weight slightly. There is a risk here if he gets this wrong, David. He could lose the game here.
Yep. It's so easy to overthrow these, Scott, isn't it? When you've got kind of back in there and you want to use it, but if you ever overthrow it and just don't get the curl, before you know it, you've lost the game.
Yeah, I think the first objective obviously would be to make sure that they don't lose any more than one this end. But this is a shot at this level you would be expecting them to make to win the game on good ice, as we've seen in this session. For these skips at this level, it really should be an 8 or 9 out of 10 shot, this one.
We'll find out, Scott, because it's on its way, the last stone here in the 8th end. Can they make this shot?
They're certainly working it very hard, David. They're obviously inside the line. What they don't want to do is just tickle off that top.
I think they're holding it well. I think they've made it, and they have.
A good shot, well swept, well executed. A good team shot.
That's an important win there for the Hess rink. So maybe now we'll switch across onto the rink on sheet A, which is going into the extra end here.
A wee bit excited, David. We're not quite on the extra end yet. So tell me about these two teams that we're about to watch then, David. So David's kindly updated the scoreboard, and as I said just 5 minutes ago, a lot of stones in play. And wow, look at this, David, how the blue managed to get their 2 here. Yellow with 2 shots to come, I think. Yeah, so 2 stones each to come in this game. And can the team Schneider come down here, play the high hard one? Can Schneider come down and play that high hard one, David, and pick 2 blues out and leave themselves in quite a nice position?
Well, what a shot that would be, Scott. This Union rink had a tough start last night, having to play the Cameron Bryce rink. Cameron Bryce eventually running out 7-1 winners. We actually covered that game last night on the YouTube, so they could really do to get a win here, to get that win chalked up on the board and get a bit of confidence in the team.
Good opportunity here for them to do that, David. I do think that if they can make this double now, it will make it very, very difficult for Youngin to score his 2.
So Skip's first stone here, and the Schneider stone's on its way. Can he get into the inside of that blue?
Looking to catch it on the high side, David. Just a bit. Oh wow. Well, I don't really know what to say about that one. I think he
got a bit of a result there, I would say.
A bit lucky in that he managed to come in off a winger and onto the top ones, but he really caught a stone there that wasn't in play. I'm sure he'll be a bit disappointed with that one.
Yes, I would suggest Youngin are sitting 1 here relatively safe, so how risky do they want to play it? They're obviously getting the extra the way the end sits to now. If they try and get too fancy here, move things about, they could be in the risk of changing the end so they can't even get their 1.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see how they can score any more than 1 here, David.
Yeah, I think you just have to really throw 1 top of that yellow. You can always draw the side of the white for your second shot if it's still available in your last. There is a draw there for 2 the now. You throw a guard the now. Of course, you run into danger. The Schneider rink then guards the draw, and then you don't have a shot for your second.
I think they're being quite aggressive here and obviously trying to make something. Whether they're thinking they can catch maybe quarter or even less of this stone on the left-hand side as we look at it. Try and pick it across the face of the blue, just touching the blue on the way by, and maybe taking the back yellow out as well.
Well, the problem with that is, Scott, you release your own blue off the face of that yellow, and it really is quite a safe position where it is now.
Well, wow, there we go.
What do we know? The blues lie too. So, does, however, open the draw up here, and if Schneider right can come in and freeze in, they're in a wee bit of trouble again. They indicated where he puts his brush.
What looks like a good shot on from initially, David. I do think that they've actually opened the door here for Schneider to get a really good one in here.
Like I say, they were setting a very safe 1 there, but they obviously felt their chances of stealing up the extra end were slim, so they wanted to take their chance when they had it. Try and manufacture a 2. So it's the last stone at this end from the Schneider rink. Will it be the last stone of them for the game? We'll find out. They could really do to make this good now here, Scott.
Well, if they don't make this one, David, that'll be the last stone of the game. Full stop. The sweepers are hanging off it. I think they think it's heavy. Are they sweeping it for line? I think, but line only. It looks like it's plenty of weight from what I can see out the window.
Oh, that's curling, Scott.
Line looks tight here, David, and I think they've caught in the top one, and unfortunately.
So that was a great play by the Youngin Rink with the last stone, and they've created the two.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, I was wondering what they were looking at there. They don't need to play the shot. They're shaking hands, and a great win for Team Youngin. So there you have it. Final score 7-6.
I think that's us now then, Scott. So thanks for listening if anyone's watching, and we'll see you again. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, David.